Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. Today I'm going to be showing you how I finished off my 2022 12 Days of Quilty Ornaments. So if you were with me last year, you know we did a 2021 12 Days of Quilty Ornaments. They're completely different than this year's set, so I encourage you to go back and check those out as well. But I wanted to show you how I'm finishing off these blocks and then give you a couple of tips. So the ornaments themselves are finishing at 3.5 inches square, which means they're pretty tiny. And so a couple of tips. Number one, sew with a scant 1/4 of an inch. That's going to help you not knock off any of those points and your blocks will come together a little bit easier. Number two, I actually pressed most of these blocks open. It really helped all of those seams when they're coming together lay a little bit flatter and make them a little bit easier to work with. Tip number three, I did Mary Ellen's best press all over the fabric before I cut them out. That's really going to help you with any of that stretching and moving around that you might have with these little ornaments. Now sometimes the little ornaments look a lot easier and they are really fast to put together, but since they're such small pieces, you really do need to be a little more accurate, and that Mary Ellen's best press will really help you out. The third tip I have for you is just to give yourself a little bit of grace. These little ornaments don't have to fit into like a larger quilt project. They're just kind of standalone. So if this ornament's 3.5 and this one's more like 3 3/4, I'm not going to worry about it. I trim them so that I can do my best without trimming off any points. So they might all just be slightly different sized. It's okay. No one's ever going to notice. The pattern for these ornaments will be linked below this video. You can also get it at store.confessionsofahomeschooler.com. I think that's pretty much everything you need to know. Here's what you're going to need to finish off your ornaments. So like I mentioned, I'm finishing these off just this simple way, but of course you can do whatever you like. So supplies are going to be really easy. We're going to start off using a little bit of batting, and I'm just using my quilt batting scraps. You're also going to need 1 fat quarter for the backing on this project, and I'm just using this fun print from Sweetwater Fabric. You're also going to need some ribbon for the hangers, and I'm just using this Rick Rack by Lori Holt. This is in the cloud colorway, and it is the small 1/4 inch size. Some wonder clips are helpful for this project as well. You'll also need some scissors or a rotary trimmer and a ruler. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I've done is cut all my batting pieces out, and I'm going to be basting them using this 505 basting spray. You can pin baste, and honestly these are small enough you could probably get away without basting. But I'm just going to take one of my ornaments and just spritz a little bit of the baste on the back. You do want to work in a well ventilated area, by the way. Batting does have a right and wrong side, and I remember it by saying dimples up, pimples down. So those little bumps go down and the little indents go up, and you're going to do that to all of your ornaments. Next we're going to quilt our ornament. There's no right or wrong way. You can machine quilt or hand quilt. I went ahead and machine quilt just because I prefer that, but I think some hand stitching on these would be adorable. So we're going to prep all of our ornaments in the exact same way, getting them all quilted. Once our ornaments are finished, we're going to trim them up. Now the instructions say to trim these at 3.5 inches square. So I'm using this little 4.5 inch square ruler. It's the closest size I have. It just makes it a little easier to work with. But one thing I wanted to mention is these don't have to be exact. You're not fitting them into another quilt project. So they're standalone. So I just do my best not to chop off any of my points when I'm trimming them. So they might all just be slightly different size. It's not a big deal. The next thing we're going to do is take our backing fabric, and we're going to cut 12 pieces of backing fabric. Again, you're going to cut them at 3.5 inches square per the pattern, but just to give myself a little wiggle room, I went ahead and cut mine larger. And since my fat quarter is folded into fourths like this, it makes it really easy because I can cut out 4 pieces at a time. And since I have a 4.5 inch ruler, I'm actually just going to go ahead and cut 4.5 inch squares, so I can just cut all the layers at once just to make my life easier, and then I will trim them down later. So here I am just getting all of my pieces trimmed out. I'm even kind of avoiding those creases because I didn't take the time to press my fabric first, but of course you could do that as well. And I'm just going to cut them all out at once. That way all of my background squares are ready to go. Now I'm using 1 fat quarter here, but you could definitely use your scraps for the backing. Next, we're going to prepare our hanging ribbon, and I'm going to cut 12 pieces that are 7 inches long. That's just a size I found works pretty well. Of course, you can do whichever you like. And again, I'm just using this Rick Rack ribbon. You can do tulle, you could do jute. I think that would be really fun as well, or you could just do a colorful ribbon as well. Next, we're going to take our ribbon and I'm just going to secure it onto my ornament before I stitch everything together. That way it doesn't slip out on me. And you can either do them on the top of the ornament like that, or you could even turn them diagonally and put your hanger right there on that corner. I think that would be really cute as well. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on just at the top of the ornaments. Here it is. I've just secured my hanger and now I'm going to place my ornament right side down on a piece of backing. I'm going to sew all the way around all four sides, but I'm going to leave about a 1.5 inch opening at the bottom there just to turn it right side out. Now I've gone ahead and sewn, and now we can trim up any excess backing or ribbon that you have hanging off the top there as well. And it looks like I need a new rotary blade here. Anyways, I'm just going to trim up that ornament. Again, I'm just trimming it off based on where that batting is. And then the next step is to just trim off those tiny corners. That's going to help our ornaments turn out and have a little bit sharper point at those corners. Be careful not to clip into your stitch line though, or you will have a hole there instead of a corner. And then I like to finger press that edge right there. I think it just helps when I turn the ornament right side out to give it that 1/4 inch seam. And now we're going to turn our ornament right side out. And just be careful here, it's just tiny little pieces, and so you don't want to rip anything. Next, I'm going to use one of my point turners, and this is from Modern American Vintage, and I'm going to turn out those points. And then I'm going to carefully press under that opening with my fingers. And I apologize, I did get off camera there a little bit, but I'm just finger pressing that open edge in and then putting a few wonder clips on it just to secure it. Next, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew around all four edges just to give it a finished look and to close up that opening. All right, guys, that was it. As you can see, finishing these little ornaments is so fast and easy. Now, we will be doing a sew along for these ornaments. Again, these are the 2022 12 Days of Quilty Ornaments. I did do a version for 2021 last year, so you may also want to check those out. They are completely different, but these little blocks are so much fun to make, and we will be doing a sew along this year for them as well. So you can make sure you're following me on Facebook or Instagram. We will be announcing all of that on those platforms, and we're going to be sewing one ornament every other day leading up to Christmas, so you'll have a fun-filled tree when Christmas rolls around. So that's going to be it for today's video. Like I said, links will be below the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.